Hi! Welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time, like half a year already. I couldn't find like a motivation to film any new videos because I'm not into like finding a new topic every single day and I'm interested in or invested in. So I thought that this time I had a new topic I want to talk about, and this is me growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I was born in 1993. I turned 27 last year in 2020. Like, when I think about back to my childhood, I went through some really traumatic things. I never talked about it. I never wanted to talk about it. And today it's not a day of talking about traumatic events. So I have like my phone with me and I wrote my whole script for this video. If I'm making any errors with my language or my speech in general, please tell me in the comments below, and I'm trying to be better next time. My start in life, we had that already. Well, I need to mention that I live in Austria, so the childhood here in Austria is maybe different in your country. Well, let's just start with the things I played with as a child. Like, for example, the toys we had back then, like cards to collect, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon, and I was like on the front with Pokemon cards. I collected them, I like to play with them, and the whole rules about Pokemon cards and how to use them actually is something I never understood, but it was really difficult for me. And to this day I don't understand how to play them properly, so well.
You're right, I really like you.
Yes! Dream Phone, the hot electronic talking phone game.
It's for you!
I remember specifically having that game, the Dream Phone game, because I got it for my 6th birthday and I didn't know how to play it properly, so I just pretended to call someone and using these cards just for the face and looking at them and some shit, and I never actually played it until I was 9, and until then no one wanted to play it anymore because it wasn't like trendy, so yeah, I just threw it away. We had like the Polly Pocket toys, like the little things you can use to open and shut them, like these little pocket toys.
Bitch, are you dumb?
And we had like these figurines to use, and I never had them. I always had friends, they had them, but I didn't have them. And sadly, I always wanted to have some. I think my dad was kind of like denied because he always liked doing sports with me and doing stuff not really liked for girls, but most of the girls were into like puppets and Barbies and dolls, etc. But I was only interested in Polly Pocket. In Europe we are using like the Advent calendar, and we had like all these doors to open from 1st to 24th of the December, and there were like a special Polly Pocket one. This is the exact one I wanted back then, and I found the pictures on Google, and I can't believe that there are actually people out there selling them privately. I asked my dad to buy it, but back then when I wanted it, we already had euros. We had another currency back, it was called shilling, and when I wanted it, it was like 20 euros, but it was really much in shilling, and my dad always like calculated in shilling, and he said, oh my god, that's too expensive, you don't get one. And I was like so frustrated, and then when I was invited to a house of a friend and we played there, and I saw that she got that. And I was so sad, and I was like so devastated. I think I like didn't talk to that friend for like a few days because I was so like mad, not at her, but at the time I was really like taking everything too dramatically, and so I just ignored her. Oh god, I'm so sorry. Well, it's it. Well, we had Polly Pocket and Tamagotchi. I always wanted one of them as well. I had one then, I think then like 3 years later, after the whole hype was over, I had one. I think like maybe in the first 3 days my Tamagotchi died. I was like so lazy to actually take care of that little thing. So we had also like, this was like the era of going to McDonald's like almost every single day. We had like all our Happy Meals and we got our little toys out of it. It was like the kind of thing in our clique to collecting them and showing them off. Especially I like this little one, I'm going to show them here. These little music boxes with like little songs on them, just the snippets of them. I like the ones from No Angels. This was a girl group back in the early 2000s. They were casted by pop stars, a TV format from Germany. I just like them and I like the color of it, and they're like so small you can put in on your chains, on your keychains. I like collecting them. I had one like even 2 years ago, but because I moved, I lost it, unfortunately. I remember putting them in my box with all my old toys, but it's lost forever. I don't know where it is, actually. The next thing I want to talk about is the internet stuff. Internet culture back in the day. So I started using the internet when it was like, specifically I remember 1998, because my mom was in a relationship with a guy who was really into computer and stuff. I used his computer to play Minesweeper or Solitaire. It was used on an old Windows 1998 system. Then after that he upgraded it to Windows 2000. Then I think in the 2000s, 2001 specifically, he upgraded it, and it was like I was there through the whole process of like installing. I was really interested and I was really hyped because not every girl was into that, so I felt special at that time. Yeah, I liked using the internet, but I wasn't really familiar with how to use it, and I was like 5 or 6, but I was interested, so I always watched my mom playing a specific game, and it's called Alien Trilogy. I know it's not a game for children, I know that, please don't tell anyone. But I really liked watching her playing it, how she's using the guns to kill all these little creatures, and like using all the tools to actually go through that game. So I just tried to play it myself. As you can see, I started it on my laptop, and I'm sorry that it's not going to be really good rendered because my laptop is shit and I don't know why it's not really working on my laptop, but I really liked the game back then, and it was released in 1996 for PlayStation, Sega and Windows. And yeah, I like watching my mom playing it, and now I'm playing it too. Even though it's not really good. I got my first computer in 2003 because my brother actually had a IT company and he wanted to gifted me one. And this was the start of my own internet journey. I liked playing like all these little games for children, but the first real website I used was Newgrounds. That site. I used Web Archive for this one, and I tried to play games on Newgrounds like back in the day, and one of my favorite was the Skull Kid, and I tried to open it, and back then you needed to click on a link and it opens a new window like here, and well, the file you requested could not be found. It's either been moved, never existed, or you've mistyped the URL you were looking for. Great. Well, I tried it to get it running on another way because Flash Player is not supported anymore, but I found it. And yes, you had a chainsaw, you were this little kid with a skull on your head, and you can like cut through different kind of objects, and you had 3 levels. The first one was the easiest one because it was like majorly like the objects you were cutting in half, but there were other things you could cut in half, like... And this was my first side. I remember the guys in my class playing on the school computer. Yeah, that's got me hooked on the whole thing. Actually, when I always tried to access this internet address on my computer, I always got like these crazy advertisements, like these not family-friendly kind of ads. Yeah, that's how I got introduced to this whole culture that I don't want to talk about. I liked playing music. I had like, I think it's LimeWare. Is it called like that? It was a music application back then where you can like download all MP3s from different artists and musicians, and it was, I think it was illegal. Back then I downloaded it from there, my whole music, like Michael Jackson, which is my influence. I told about that in the first video. The boyfriend of my mom's back then had like all these CDs, and I tried to use these CDs to put all this music onto LimeWare. And I think it got deleted then, but it got like bad because I got an email then on my old email account, which was an email account from a children website. I think I got threatened by them. I don't know. I remember it was a company that wanted to take down my data from this music application. As a child, you were like completely frightened and oh my god, I don't want my parents to find out what I do on the internet. And I was like 8 or 9 years old. Back to this whole internet stuff, I came to another side that I really liked playing, like dress-up games for children, and a whole thing I really liked was dolls. This was a whole thing. Dolls was like my #1 go-to to play and interact with other people. There was a chat room called Doll Palace, and I was on there for quite some time. And you had like these little avatars and icons in dolls form. Every kind of dolls related stuff was used as an icon or an avatar. Then we had like all these dress-up games with dolls as well. This is a website I actually used back in the day. It's a German one, and I used the dolls maker there, and there were different kinds like Bonita Maker, Candy Maker, and you can like dress them up and save them on your computer and using them for your website just for play. Here's the old Dolls Mania website. It's from 2003, and as you can see, it's really old, and it was normal for these websites to get awards, so you know that they're legit. Here's a prep maker, and it's not loading properly anymore because it's years ago. Here's an updated Dolls Mania website from 2006, and yeah, that's what we used back then to play and lose some time. We had also like building our own websites on different websites as well. It sounds complicated, but it wasn't. We had Beeps World. It was really common used in Germany and I think in other countries as well. I remember because I always used looking up for websites specifically for dolls, and we built like websites with houses, and we had like our little stories in our heads, and we just kind of used it or made out of dolls, and everyone can use one of the dolls to have a certain name. You can like adopt children and adopt dogs and buy houses, and it was like all listed on the website. It was weird, but that was the thing that entertained us back then for many of us. I still miss it. I mean, there are like sites online like Dolls Mania, as I mentioned, Dolls World and stuff, but it's like dying, and I wanted to preserve all of this in this one video. Yeah, it's sad. My childhood is like, it's like going away, and I can't do anything about it. When I heard about or read about Adobe? You're calling it Adobe? I don't know. Or I call it Adobe my whole life, so I don't know if I'm mispronouncing it. I think it's Adobe. Yeah.
Stop!
They took down the Flash player in December of 2020, and it was a shock for me because all the Flash games I played as a child were gone forever. And I really want to thank all the archives on the internet for preserving these kind of games, because it's not natural for people to do that. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of people who want to delve into these kind of memories together and sometimes want to play these old games, like myself. We can talk about like what we had as cell phones back in the day and our fashion. We liked, we had crop tops as well back then. I think specifically remembering what clothes I wanted to wear when I was starting with elementary school. We tried to wear stuff from all these pop stars and who got the new jewelries, and it was like all about how's your hair, and we were really judgmental back then. Sometimes I wanted to have these kind of clothes or these kind of accessories for myself. I don't know. I think about it like today, I wouldn't want my child to judge anyone based on their looks or their ethnicity or their sexuality. I'm really onto educating my child to be aware of people's feelings, and yeah, that's what I'm trying. But back then it was like, oh, you have that new jeans on, well, you're cool. Or if you had these necklaces, that was a thing in my childhood as well. If you had one of them, wow, you look pretty. And I think that was part of my childhood that I really regret not being myself. And we had cell phones, like I mentioned before, and I had like the Nokia 3310, and it was like the unbreakable one. And actually mine broke apart, but I could like build this back inside everything that needed to be built in, and you can actually build it off of it again. Like you can change your keyboard. Is it? No, it's not called keyboard. Oh my god, I'm so bad at English.
Oh!
You can like use other cases for your phones, and I like customizing my phone. I liked it really a lot. So we went through the neighborhood, like with our East pack we had on our side or in the front. It was like every year it changed their side. It was kind of like we had our East bags and our cell phones and our house keys, and that was it. That was the in thing. We didn't think about what can happen to us as children. To a certain extent, it's good to be aware of your surroundings when you're outside as a child, and we never had any adults with us. We were like with our friends, we were outside, and that's it, we played. That was it all. And today it's difficult to do that, and since I'm a mom myself, I'm even more cautious to letting her outside play on her own. But at the end of the day, it's all about communication and talking about it, and yeah, making children aware that there are so many dangers outside, and it's good to be aware of your surroundings and the people you're interacting with. I think back in my childhood, and I think that what made me be me today is I think that we had a great time back then, okay?
Goddamn.
We had like the best time of our lives, except for the mobbing part. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. If you liked it, please subscribe. If you have any like topics you want to see in my video, please comment down below and give it a like, a thumbs up. It would be really appreciated. And I see you next time.